FUTV back live this evening for everybody. Hello, welcome to the show, everybody. Please get your comments in the live comments section, and please do get your comments in after the video has finished its live as well. We're talking about Yildiz again, Kenan Yildiz, about this story that's popped up from Damasio, talking about what Juventus's approach is to this window and what they might do or need to do, more importantly. More on that as well. Manchester United looking at Felix Mecca now from Borussia Dortmund as well. We're going to talk about updates from The Athletic and Laurie Whitwell in particular on Garnacho and Mainu. Manchester United dipping into the free transfer market as well as summer. Talk about that, round all of that up, and go into the international players in action and everything tonight's involving your live comments and everybody else as well, your feelings on these transfer targets right now. What type of midfielder does Ruben Amorim want? Well, by all accounts and reports, it is a very athletic and robust midfielder, and that is similar to what he wants from his number 10s and forward players as well. The agents of Rasmus Højlund are actively looking at moving him out and getting options together as well as other news today. We're going to go through everything else. We did touch on Rasmus last night, I know, in detail, but more stories backing up what we were saying last night about the agents of Rasmus Højlund looking to actively find suitors for him in Italy right now. It does lead into that. We want to start with Italy again, though, and Juventus, who are a club that might have been interested in Rasmus Højlund. We're not talking about him, though. We're talking about Kenan Yildiz, and him being the player that we spoke about briefly last night, and briefly because I didn't believe that this deal was possible. I didn't think that Juventus would be selling one of their young star players at all. I didn't think that they would be even open to selling him. There was a story that floated around yesterday that Manchester United would be interested. He's valued at 75 million, and for that price tag alone, I thought, you know what, let's just leave that there. I don't think United are going to be going in for that type of player. But if United are in the free transfer market and they're looking at other players, we are going to talk about that Angel Gomez rejection of West Ham as well, and how he wants to wait for United. Could that be one midfielder coming in? Robust, athletic. Does that fit the mould? He's a different type of player, isn't he, Gomez? But more on that in a moment anyway. But Yildiz, the young 19-year-old Turkish attacking player for Juventus, has bagged a few goals, has played in the Champions League quite predominantly this season, as well, quite a lot this season actually as well, and is a hot property right now. He has got a big ass contract, which again is why yesterday I didn't really want to get into much detail on this, but Damasio is the one that is reporting this, that Juventus, even if they get into the Champions League, may look to cash in on Yildiz because they want the money and they want to strengthen the team around Motta. Obviously, new manager, only a year in, way off the title at the moment. Juventus, it's looking like a three-horse race between Napoli, Inter, and Atalanta right now. So Juve fallen away, and they need recruiting. They need recruitment, and they cannot fund it alone with just the Champions League. Champions League isn't a guarantee for them, but they may still even cash in on Yildiz if they get Champions League football. So if they don't, this could be definitely one way that they do get the money in. And Damasio has said Manchester United are actively interested and looking into the deal and the opportunity if it does come around. Okay, it just doesn't make sense to me, but when Damasio comes out and says that Manchester United could possibly be looking at it, I get it. I get that news like this, well, we're on international break, and well, the journalists, like I've said, are doing overtime work right now because there's nothing else to talk about. Then they're going to do a little bit more journalistic work and dig a little bit deeper. This is where these stories come from. And this is why you always got to have your ear close to the ground around international time, because players talk, agents are active, and journalists are digging. And when they dig, they find out some extra information. And this is what we've got with Yildiz now. It is a case of who is going to come in and offer the right amount of money. I don't think they're going to get anywhere near that price, what they want for him. His market value is approximately 45 million euros right now. He has got a big contract, which is what holds Juventus in the bargaining chair, really, with this deal. And I think that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to how much somebody's willing to pay over the odds for Yildiz. Is he a Motta player? He's played quite a lot this season. He's got 10 goals, goal involvements this season overall. I think 6 goals and 4 assists. Not prolific, like you said, for I think 41 games I think he's had this season. But when we're asking the question, like, why would Juve sell him? Why would you get rid of your young star, your young protege, your young talented superstar of the future, maybe. I don't know. Look, he's obviously not that good because Juve have really underperformed this season compared to the other teams in Serie A. You'd expect Juve to be challenging at the top, but they're not. And yeah, where he has looked decent in certain games, he's not worth that amount of money. And Manchester United are looking into the market for these types of players. I feel that they think they can get a good deal for. And again, like I keep on convincing myself that this deal cannot happen simply because it's too dear. And Juve are not going to sell a player like that. And with playing in every game of the Champions League in what Juve have played in this season, would he want to go to a team that's not in the Champions League? And you're always arguing with yourself again about whether this deal could happen or not. But United are looking for younger, talented players, athletic players. And they're in the market for any possible deal that might be in the offing. And I feel like this is where, again, the recruitment team takes over. Manchester United, with this story coming out from Damasio that we're interested, we'll always be looking at any possible deal to have. Now, the other subplot to this is obviously you've got Joshua Zirkzee, Rasmus Højlund, players that could actually be heading out to Italy this summer. We just don't know. We don't know if this is a possibility at all in terms of players leaving Manchester United, like we've talked about Rasmus Højlund. Joshua Zirkzee was wanted by Motta. Could they revisit that? Could there be a swap in the offing for Joshua Zirkzee? Look, we've said before, players right now are working well for Ruben Amorim. We're getting a bit more of a tune out of Garnacho. We're getting more out of Bruno Fernandes. Joshua Zirkzee is improving all of the time. But he hasn't got time, Ruben Amorim, to make his mark on this team by just getting players improving a little bit. We're still not creating and scoring enough. As good as it's getting, and it is better than what it was, when that transfer window opens, all of that, I back you all the way, goes out of the window because the season's finished and the transfer window takes on its own lease of life. And you could get players like Joshua Zirkzee heading the opposite way. There could be mate weights in this because we know that Motta really wants Joshua Zirkzee. They tried to sign him and was offering Manchester United a realistic offer with a loan and obligation to buy Zirkzee in the January transfer window. So, with Motta still being there, would he actually look at Manchester United? And also, we know that Juventus are interested in Antony. Now, this is where everything starts to take on that that different element of how a transfer could possibly work. And it could work if there is a player going the opposite way, and then the values completely change. So Yildiz really could get Juventus money and a player that Motta wants to work with him in his Juventus side. And he is actively, and we know this from reports that have come out, and bids, like I just said for Zirkzee, looking at 2 Manchester United forwards right now. And they would be substantial signings for them. He's not going to bring in a player right now, Motta, that isn't going to feature in that side. Obviously, he's inherited a lot there at Juventus, but he does want Zirkzee. He is looking at Antony, and there may be a chance that we could maybe use one of them players as a make weight, and something could happen in the transfer window in that department. That's how I see it, and the only way I see this happening. When I seen Damasio reporting this, I thought, still, I just don't see how. But then when you start to look at how this window is developing and what clubs are having to do to balance books and make transfers happen, there could be swaps. There could be deals with players that are made as make weights. The news that we talked about with Rasmus Højlund and then Graham Bailey coming out today as well, saying that Manchester United are looking for offers for Rasmus Højlund, and Rasmus Højlund's agents are actively looking for suitors for him in Italy. You get to thinking, don't you, like, there is something there that suits the Joshua Zirkzees and Rasmus Højlunds over there in Serie A. Obviously, that's where they came from for Manchester United. Zirkzee, I feel, is the one that Motta would want more because he knows that he's going to fit into his system. I mean, they had a great season under Motta with Zirkzee in their side, and obviously, he is a player that you could say is a dead cert for that system that Motta wants to play. So maybe that's the angle. Maybe this is where it comes down to it. He's not worth 75 million, Yildiz. He's nowhere near that. His value is completely different, but he's got a big-ass contract up until 2029, and that's where the deal breaker is. That's where they can hold the value for him. I mean, would the Juventus fans be happy with him going? You've just got to trust in Motta, I think, as a Juve fan right now to make the right deal for him. But clearly not everything is well at Juventus. Otherwise, they would be challenging right now, but they're not. So maybe he's looking into that market for other deals, and this is how they make up that Champions League money, possibly. I'm only guessing at that. I really am. I'm just reading off the story that's there and the factual stuff that there is an interest, and Juve would be open to letting Yildiz go if the right offer came in. It depends what the right offer is. But I do believe that Juve will back Motta all the way after chasing him down. And the effort they put in to get Xerxes in January could come back. Just keep an eye on it, I would say. Keep an eye on what could come around. Because if they bid once, 6 months later, they're not going to be deterred. Especially with Xerxes now starting to play better as well. Could United be tempted into letting him go if the right offer came? If the money was to cover enough in terms of Xerxes and that PSR factor, and you could get a player the opposite way who is fitting in to Amorim's system better, and obviously Xerxes going the other way and fitting Motta's system better, maybe there is a coming together. I mean, I'm putting 2 and 2 together and making a deal happen here right now. But yeah, I feel like that's the only way someone like Yildiz will come into Manchester United. Look, nobody knows too much about him. He is just sprung onto the scene. He is featuring a lot for Juventus. But again, it's not a team that is really, really tearing things up at the moment. I mean, they got beat by PSV, who Arsenal beat 7-0 in the Champions League. They are not in the reckoning for the title in Serie A. So, really, when you look at them, they're not a team that is progressing right now. Is Yildiz even good enough? That's a question you've got to say as well. But that was pretty much the top transfer story from today. I'm going to get into the comments section to kickstart everything off with you guys and everything that's actually going down in the chat right now. So, do talk to me. Let me know what you're thinking of everything that's going around. Lots of people just having general chat at the moment. Everyone's just having a good time, it seems. Go for it. Joe 90 says, Motta will be gone in a couple of weeks. This is the thing as well, isn't it? With the way that these Italian clubs are, by that I mean trigger happy, manager-wise, not doing well enough, see you later, gone. Like, we know what it's like in Italy. It's probably worse than the Premier League when it comes to managers coming and going. So you just don't know. You don't know. Whichever way you look at it, Juventus are underperforming. And they are looking to, I feel, raise the money to actually cover for not being in the Champions League already. And the word is that they may even still, from what Damasio said, sell Yildiz or take offers for him, even if they make the Champions League. So that tells you everything about where they're at. They're really struggling right now. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting how that one develops and how it goes down. But whichever way, like I said, you look at it, it is going to be a bit of a graft in the transfer window coming up. And I think this is going to probably be one of the most creative transfer windows as well for every single club. I think that is what is going to be... I think that's what's going to be all over the papers. That's what's going to be all over the transfer rumour columns and everything come the summer. It's going to be these deals where you're getting make weights, you're getting free agents moving. Players are not signing new deals. They're waiting it out. They're looking to just take advantage of club situations. PSR has opened up a different world in transfer windows right now. And I think players are also taking advantage of it. And agents are hedging their bets. They're not just jumping in. It's interesting to see how Chelsea are working things now with their transfers and big contracts for young players. And just on that, actually, before we go into the chat even more, Manchester United were aware of Giovanni Kenda's bid from Chelsea and their approach for him and what they were doing. United did have the opportunity, according to The Athletic and Laurie Whitwell, to come back and make another offer for Kenda, but they chose not to. They chose to go and look at other options and other targets. So in that Chelsea format that United cannot compete with, especially when they're going in against Chelsea. The selling club are not going to look at Manchester United when you've got a bid like Chelsea's coming in there and what they're offering. It's just not going to happen. So reality tells you that Manchester United are fishing from a different pond, and their deals are going to have to be even more clever than what Chelsea's are. And Chelsea are just in a better position than us financially. That's it. And that's what United are dealing with. So when we look at the Yildiz and we look at that price tag, we go, no, why are we even talking about it? But then, like I said, United have got players that clubs are actively trying to get. And there's a lot of interest in Italy right now for Manchester United players. And this could come about and do a bit of a 180 on us. And we could end up seeing the back end of maybe 3 of our players. Like, you look at Garnacho, he is interest from Napoli, of course. Napoli looking at Rasmus Højlund, possible make-weight deal there for them as well. And you're also coming in, that being with Osimhen, but again, like, we'll see what happens with that. And then you're coming in with Joshua Zirkzee at the end of it. And you just look at it and go, there is a good chance that we could be getting a little bit of a free-for-all when it comes to Manchester United and Italian clubs. Not a good record for us, let's be honest, in terms of bringing players in. If you look at Højlund, if you look at Zirkzee, you look at them players that were brought in, not great so far. Let's be honest. It's not, is it? So maybe we should leave Yildiz alone? I don't know. Look, I don't know enough and haven't watched enough about him. I just know of him. I know what he is. I know what position he plays. I know the Juve fans do like him, but he's 19 again. And do I want to be bringing in a teenager from Serie A who hasn't really done too much for big money? I'm sure I've been there before as a Man United fan, commenting on stuff like this. It wasn't too long ago either, was it? For me, better options out there. I would be leaving Yildiz way alone, and we don't need to be spending big money on an unproven player. Yes, he's 19. I get it. You've got sell on. But so was Rasmus. He was 20. And look where he is right now, still struggling. So, yeah, let's leave that one alone, I say. That's my opinion at the end of that anyway, but you tell me, everybody. Ineos have sacked 2 quacks hired from the medical department from 1 Arsenal and 1 Liverpool. Better replacements could radically change and reduce injuries going forward. That's from Spirit of Lakota. Nico says, Zirkzee can't leave. He is good. Why would we sell one of our best players? I'd sell Ahmad before I sell Zirkzee. What are you smoking, mate? Honestly, I will leave that comment alone there, Nico. I'm sure you're just after attention with that one there, buddy. Late tonight, got caught up in work. Don't worry about it. We're here now. Excuse me. Welcome, Silverback. That wasn't deliberate sneeze for you, mate, by the way. Adam, what about Miller from Motherwell in Scotland? The Prem, not bad player. Midfield, don't know enough of him, mate, to be honest, Pete. I don't know enough about the Scottish League, and I'm not going to even comment on it. If you know him and you think he's good enough, then I couldn't even agree with you or disagree with you on that one. I don't know enough about Scottish football, but I'm afraid. Gary says, quote of the day, must be fishing in a different pond. Is it me or is it saying of the mouth? Oh, it's sort of like a saying, maybe changed up by me and my ways. I don't know. I just go with the flow, and sometimes things just come out my mouth that you don't expect. But you know what the meaning is, if you get what I mean. Even that didn't make sense, did it? The realist says, I hate to say it because we don't deserve what's happening to us, but we have had one hell of a reality check, so I am now absolutely looking forward to our youth coming through. Well said, realist. I think there's a lot of people that agree with you on that one, matey. Hi, Adam. I don't think we should be looking at a 19-year-old forward. Too much of a gamble for me. He might get swallowed up in the Premier League. I'd just concentrate on getting the experienced striker. Agreed. I think if you're going to spend money, the money has to be spent on... You're never going to get a guarantee, let's be honest, but you can get damn right close to it. And I think that's where United are at, and I think that's what we need to be looking at right now. Please give the video a like, everybody. Make sure you get your comments in as well. Make sure that you have subscribed to Forever United TV also. Get involved in the chat, please. Nico said he's being honest that he would rather sell Ahmad over Zirkzee. Mate, no. Just no. I'm going to leave that one there. Zirkzee's bang average, and that's how bad we are. If people think he's one of our best players, it shows exactly where we are now. Yeah, he's not one of our best players at all. He's nowhere near it. He's improving, and that's about it. That's all that there is really to say on Joshua Zirkzee right now. Nothing more, nothing less. He's getting better, but he's definitely not where we need to be. I hope we don't scoop up any weeds from that pond we are fishing in. We need the specimens for the ultra-physical Premier League, says Steve. Markesh says, is Yildiz even that good, really? 20-year-old smells like Rasmus transfer all over again. However, I do believe Rasmus could come good if he stays. I get it. I know. And it does have that feel about it. I did mention it then. Not too keen on unprovens, is what I'm saying. Morning Samurai, hello, welcome to the chat, my man. Good to see most of the mods in and most of the members in on the show tonight. Keep your comments flying in, everybody. Please do make sure that you get the likes up as well. And make sure you have subscribed so you can get involved in the live chat. More importantly, everyone, we're on the march to 75k. We want to get there. Come on, let's make it happen. Saran is the guy you want from Juve, possibly. I mean, more proven than Yildiz anyway. We need to get Osimhen. For me, there's got to be some sort of deal we can do with Napoli. I think we really could utilise the players that we've got. I mean, Rasmus and that one, I don't know. I'll let that one play out in the summer. I don't even want to comment on that anymore. I would like to maybe fast forward to the transfer window so we can see what really is going on with the likes of Rasmus Højlund and that possible deal. For him moving to Napoli or anywhere in Italy. It keeps on coming up. The talk keeps on coming up about Rasmus Højlund from everybody right now. So let's just see that develop. And if anything comes with Osimhen and everything happens, then maybe, I don't know. We will see in time, won't we? Of course we will. But yes, it's going to be an interesting one regarding the striker for United and how much money we spend. I think more than anything. We talked this morning openly about different players that Manchester United are looking at. The striker situation right now is a hotbed for Manchester United. I mean, only this morning, Bergerath from Mainz this morning, Bundesliga striker Manchester United are looking at as well. Obviously, we're talking about Osimhen, we talked about Yoko, we talked about everybody, Ekitike, and there's loads going around. I just feel like the free market is really going to start opening up for Manchester United. And it was interesting to see what Angel Gomez said and what he rejected. I seen this story come up the other day and I thought, you know what? I'll just wait and bide my time on that one. But then Laurie Whitwell was talking earlier on today about the free market for Manchester United, the free agent market, that is. And he was saying that he would not be surprised if Manchester United did go into the free transfer market. It makes sense for Manchester United right now, especially with the finances the way they are. And obviously we found out that Angel Gomez has turned down 100 grand a week from a possible move to West Ham to wait it out to see if Manchester United come calling. Oh, I don't know if that is true. I'm guessing that he wants to assess every single option coming in. But again, the proof is there that teams are trying to get in early on these deals and trying to get things wrapped up. Look what Chelsea have just done with buying the two players from Sporting. Getting in there early. Pre-negotiated deals before the window even opens. And they cannot be official yet. But that's how it's working. You look at West Ham trying to get Angel Gomez in. I'm sure Manchester United are doing similar work behind the scenes, and I'm sure that Manchester United right now have got their targets all set out, and I think there are certain ones that if we go into the Champions League or we don't, they're still going to go for, and I think that's priority number one for the team and the recruitment team right now more than anything. Block, I agree, despite Tony being a problem, he would have scored goals for us, badly needed, even if he was just here for a year or two. I'm not sure who you were talking about there in terms of Tony. Sean says, I'd be happy with Rasmus and Jonathan David up front. Then get Cunha and Diblin as the 10s. Job for midfield. Use Ahmad as right wing back. Kamasin and Mantato as backup. Buy a young centre back and use Kamasin and use Harrison as a goalkeeper. He's already figured it out, Sean. He's already got it done. Finalised, signed, sealed and delivered, mate, don't you? Everybody has. Spirit of Lakota says Xerxes' ability to bring other players into play is exceptional. Imagine an on-pitch relationship with Chido, layoffs, passes and break up the opposition defence. Xerxes and Chido have the football IQ. Will we ever see it? That's the question. I don't know. I don't know if we're actually clutching at straws there really with that one. But I mean, we need to be able to give these players the opportunity in a tight situation right now. Chido can only play in the Premier League. Obviously, he cannot play in the Europa League, which is a bit gutting. But I still feel like the way it's going right now with the players that we've got coming back, I feel like with Mount coming back in particular, Cobby coming back, two players who can play in that front three as well for Manchester United right now. I think looking at that, I think Manchester United right now are really probably not going to use Chido as much. I don't think they are. Unless we get an injury to another player like Erasmus Højlund, I think Chido's game time is going to be limited. And I can actually see him now maybe even dropping back down into the under-21s as it stands with the players that we've got coming back. He hasn't been using him, even when we've had one striker, and he's used him sparingly. I don't think Ruben thinks that Chido, I think he feels sorry that Chido is not fully ready yet. And I think that's what we're up against right now. I think he's at a position where he's shown quality, he's shown that he has got the talent and the capabilities, but still, there's a long way to go. There's a lot more to talk about with Chido Obi, but I don't think it's going to be that much this season. I don't want to burst anyone's bubble with that either, but I think that's just the reality of the situation. I think that's where we're at right now. Rick says, we bring striker in, get rid of Rasmus, then who is back up? We can't use Obi as a second striker. He needs time. If anything, needs to be on loan. Well, this is why we all think that Rasmus probably will end up staying, unless he is used in a deal to bring in an absolute elite striker, and it's needs must. I think if United go out and get Jonathan David, I don't think there's any point in selling Rasmus Højlund, unless you sell Rasmus Højlund and bring in a Osimhen as well as Jonathan David. But then we're living in cuckoo land, and that's dream world, isn't it, more than anything else? So no, I'm not fully convinced that that is going to happen either. But whichever way Manchester United look at the striker options out there right now, it isn't hard to get something better than what we've got. I think, like I've said before, if United go out the Europa League, I think we will find out who United's striker is, because you'll go into the market looking at the finances that we've got, obviously not having the Champions League next season, and know what you can spend. And I think we'll find out very quickly what Man United's targets are. Another target, moving on, actually, that Manchester United are looking at, and this has come from German reports. It was reported earlier on today. Felix Meka. Manchester United are now looking at Borussia Dortmund player. Again, another Borussia Dortmund player for Manchester United. I mean, when you look at this, when you look at all of the news flying around with Manchester United now, it's hard to know what to believe. It is hard to know where to go with it. And again, I would love to just fast forward this season and get to the end of it and know what's happening, because I feel like next season is going to be so important. Obviously, I still want United to do well this season, but I just want to get there now. I want to know what's happening. I want to know who's coming in. I'm impatient, and I want to see more. I want to see what Ruben Amorim can do with his players. I feel so sorry for them, and I know we're getting decent results now, and everything has turned around a little bit for Ruben Amorim and Man United, but still, I cannot wait. I am chomping at the bit. I'm massively impatient, waiting around to see what he can actually do. And that is the most exciting thing in all of this for me. I look at it and I just say, look what Ruben's doing with this squad, and look what he's done behind the scenes. If you bring in players that are just going to adapt to his system straight away, that he knows are the right players, and Laurie Whitwell was talking today about the athletic midfielders that Ruben Amorim wants, then really, you know what kind of player is going to be coming in for Manchester United, and you just want to see a United team performing properly under Ruben Amorim. And we have had to be patient. It's going to take time, like he said at the start, but when you start bringing in the players that Manchester United really, really are going to be working, in a Ruben Amorim system, then you really are starting to see what Ruben can do on the pitch, and really see what he can do with his tactics and what we've seen at Sporting. But until then, you just don't know, do you? You just don't know. Interesting game tonight, by the way, between Portugal and Denmark, which is going to be a good one to watch, which I might catch up with later on as well. But I'm looking at, let's say, for instance, we talked last night about Xavi Simons again, didn't we? And now you're looking at Felix Meka from Borussia Dortmund. I mean, let's just have a quick look at him, just for example, and see what the situation is regarding his contract is 2028. His market value is 28 million euros right now. Attacking midfielder slash, he's an 8, pretty much, a box-to-box. Is this the athletic type of player, like Larry Whitwell was talking about, that Manchester United are going to be looking at? Is this what Manchester United need? Again, it's going to a club like Borussia Dortmund that we've had a relationship with before in bringing players in and out. We've done a plenty. We've got decent relationships with Borussia Dortmund. But again, it's a player for me I don't know enough or have watched enough of to say that he is definitely the right man for Manchester United. And I've said this so many times before on these shows recently that I'm not bothered about that. I don't need to know how good this player is. I can do my research and look at these players afterwards. All I want is this recruitment team to know what they're doing and get the players that they know are going to fit in with a Ruben Amorim formation and system and what he wants from them and demands he wants from them. I mean, when you look at him in the Bundesliga alone, Metchart, he's got 2 goals, 1 assist. I don't think that's necessarily his game. This is a player that you would be looking at instead of an Edison. This is the make weights again. And this is the market opening up to us all right now because we're listening to reports and reading into these stories about players that United are looking at of the, and I don't want to say lesser quality because they could prove to be really good players, but that's the point I'm making. The recruitment is looking for players that are going to be cheaper, that haven't already hit the limelight, and they could turn into quality players and work with Ruben Amorim. Hasn't featured much for Germany, just 3 appearances for the national team as well. Just going to check all of his competition stats for this season alone. So that's going to be European football as well, Champions League. He's featured quite heavily, to be fair. He's been out injured with a ligament injury, sadly, for quite a bit of time now, and he's currently out of the squad. So it's going to be interesting again, like United's recruitment looking at this. Are they looking at this as an opportunity? If he has got a record of injuries, which he doesn't seem to have, it's just this season has been a little bit unfortunate, then we need to be staying clear of him again. But that's not for us. We look at all of this when we find out. But what we are finding out is the type of profile of play that Ruben wants and what this recruitment team is now looking for. And I think that's the thing to take from all of this. Well, Yildiz, Mekcha, and players like this are probably, there's a good strong chance that they won't come to Manchester United. We're getting a good glimpse of what is to come possibly for Manchester United in the summer. And I think that's what we take from this more than anything. These transfers may not even happen. But what we are looking at is a clear recruitment structure working. And that's what we want to see. Please give the video a like, everybody. Get your comments in. We're nearly at the 200 live like mark. Let me know what you think, everyone. Get into the comments section. Mr Adam Stott says, exactly, I've been banging on about that for ages. Yes, Bruno has scored his fair share, but he wouldn't be able to do that as a number 9. I can't see anyone scoring 20-plus goals. Charles says we need less stingy wingers. Recently, our wingers have been crossing a lot more than last season. I think Ruben's actually getting into these players. That's why, mate. That's above anything else. That's what's actually happening right now. We need to be realistic, Adam. We cannot pull top-tier players like previously. We also have to be super careful with the money. Yes, we do. And yes, we do. Super chat in from Ray Carl says, if you are selling Rasmus, we have to go for 2. We have to go 2 for 1 because we all know Osimhen and Gyökeres won't last the entire season. Again, no backup. They do play their fair share of games, them two, though. They are quite resilient in terms of the amount of appearances. When you look at most players now, you're looking at 40-plus games a season easily, no matter what the competition is as well. And you look at Osimhen's stats, you look at Gyökeres' stats, and they're both right up there in terms of appearances. And that is gold as well. A reliable, resilient striker who can play a lot, who scores goals. It sounds like you've won the lottery, doesn't it? It really does, but still, I feel like Manchester United would be really, really lucky to get either of them two. Now, I don't think either one is going to happen. I'm just being honest, I don't think either one of them is going to happen for Manchester United, and we will be looking at other strikers. But again, I haven't got a problem with that. Goal-scoring attacker, goalkeeper, midfielder, or two, and we could be good. What is good, though? What are you expecting from the ideal signings? That's what we want to know. We have 5 new members in the house, gifted by ourselves here for the month on Forever United TV. That's Ray S, Autumn Wind, Anno8369, Charles Van Olsen, and Jet Wash Kings. Welcome to the Members Club, everybody. Please do get your comments in as members as well. And please, everybody already in the chat, welcome the new members along to the channel. Thank you. Let's see what else we've got in here. By the way, would anyone, I'm sure I've asked this question before, would anyone take Angel Gomez on a free transfer? Or do you think he's just not suitable for the Premier League? Honestly, I'm not going to be paying him 100 grand a week. Like, if he's waiting around and not taking that West Ham offer, if that is real and that's true, then no. I'm not paying more than 100 grand a week for Angel Gomez. I don't think that's the right move for Manchester United. I don't think he would be wanting more than that, personally. I just don't think he's moved to West Ham because he wants a bigger club. I think that's what it is. Charles says, sad to say, but I hope Ericsson has played his last game for United. He was actually shocking at keeping possession, Adam. He'll be playing tonight, though, won't he, for Denmark? I'm sure he will. I don't think Gomez is worth taking. He ain't good enough, says Carl, United Spotlight. Look, he's got qualities. I just don't know if he's a Ruben playoff. That's all I'm thinking. I just don't think he fits in right now. And that, I think that's just being honest. And I think there's a lot of United fans that are there with that. Again, JT says no to Gomez. Could Victor Johansson from Stoke be an opportunity if we're looking to move on a goalkeeper? The goalkeeping situation, I'm quite confident about. I mean, honestly, like, there's nothing wrong with Anana being bubbly and upbeat and that, but did you see him running up to that free kick? It's like, just go back in your goal, mate, and let the forwards deal with the free kick. He's just one of them. He makes me nervous. He does. Like, he's too much. He's too much, this man, honestly. Like, just stop. Slow down, Andre. Slow down. You don't need to be involved this much. Just stay in your lane, get back in your goal, and let all the outfield players do their bit. That's what's important. You just keep the ball out the back of the net, for God's sake. Anybody looking forward to any certain games? I was going to do the England game tomorrow over on Big Up. I'm going to do a watch along there, but I'm at a wedding tomorrow, so that is not happening. I'm not going to be getting into any watch alongs first few games of the international break, but we may do one next Tuesday for the Latvia game as well. I do want to watch England under Tuchel just to see how we do and how we approach it and the way that we play. So, yeah, I will be doing a couple of watch-alongs on there as well over the international break. Probably just the one next Tuesday, actually, in fact. But, yeah, make sure that you are up to date with all of your Big Up as well. Link is in the description, everybody, as well. So get onto that one, please, everyone. Let's get some more comments in. Boxing, Adam, you know who would be perfect? Number 10 for Amorim? McTominay. I just... No. I get what you're saying. And you know what? If McTominay was available, McTominay would have been used by Ruben Amorim. Guarantee it, he would have been used. He could have even played him as a bleeding number. I bet he would have played him as a 9 at some point as well as a false 9. You know he would, wouldn't he? But he would have 100% been playing in one of them 10 roles. He likes that. He likes that athletic type of player, and Scott can score goals. We know that. He always pops up with a goal. I got him at Too Hotty, doesn't he? But still, we will see in time how this season pans out in terms of who ends up finishing the season in them 10 roles. If Mason Mount stays fit, he will be one of the 10s. I do believe that Garnacho's going to hold the other berth, possibly Xerxes, and then I don't know. Like, if Xerxes goes into number 9, I know he doesn't like him there. So we are going to have an abundance of 10s, I feel, coming back in. And I've said it before, I think Ahmad will play as a right wing-back when he comes back. I think he will. Why aren't we in for Howson? Because we haven't got 50 million to spend on a defender, mate. That's why we're not in for Howson. That's what it's all about. Can't make my mind up on the return of Angel. Can see both sides to the arguments. Yeah, I get that, Steve. I do. I get where you're going with that one. It is a case of like trying to argue the good points with the bad. But would you go out and buy him? And are we just talking about him because he's free? That's what we're arguing here right now, aren't we? Are we just talking about Angel Gomez because he's a free agent? I've done it. I've said it. Would you take him in as a squad player because he's free? I've said it before that I would. But if he was on the market and you had to pay money for him, would you go out and spend money on Angel Gomez? If the answer is no, then why would you bring him in as a free transfer for the sake of him being free? Is the argument that you could have. Now, I've said I would like Gomez. I think he has got qualities. I would take him as a squad player, but I don't think he feels like he is a squad player either. I think he should be, or he feels he should be playing more consistently. I don't think he gets consistent game time or goes right into a Ruben Amorim starting 11. If that player is not available in the summer, you don't just go out and get him. That's what you're looking at right now. But yeah, in terms of Kobbie Mainoo as well, and that situation with Garnacho, Laurie Whitwell was saying earlier on that he feels like Ruben is warming to Garnacho at the moment. He's not had the chance to warm to Kobbie Mainoo though because he's been out injured. And obviously there are stories still flying around that Kobbie is going to reject another offer from Manchester United contract-wise. If that comes out and is official, we will cover that in another video, obviously. But that's another story that's floating around right now, that Kobbie Mainoo is set to actually reject another offer of Manchester United, which is in the realm of 130 grand a week without Champions League football. And that's including bonuses. There is something in there which says that if we do qualify, you can earn a little bit more, but it's not going to go very high, even with bonuses included in any deal that United are offering him right now. Apparently, it's still nowhere near what he originally wanted. So that's the situation we're in with Kobbie Mainoo right now, and it's not ideal. It's not ideal at all for us. And there is a chance that he could be sold in the summer. And that pretty much is that. And that is your show tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Going to go watch some international football now. Go and see how the boys are doing. Hopefully pray and touch wood, touch everything, that nobody gets any injuries. And we do come out of it unscathed. That's the important thing. But for now, everyone, thank you so much. We have passed the 200 live like mark. Thank you, everyone, again for your content. For your commitment and your constant messages and comments in on the live chats. Get them comments in below. Yildiz, Mecca, these type of players, are they right for Manchester United? Get into the comment section below, everyone. I'll speak to you all in the morning, 8 o'clock sharp, people. Make sure you're up early. I'm ready to go. I'll bring you up to date. I'm praying that there's no bleeding injuries from internationals, but we will be talking on the aftermath of them injuries as well, and any other news that comes out, as there usually is throughout the night with Manchester United. But that is it for now, everyone. Thank you so much. I'll see you all in the morning. Have a great evening, people.